over here. Brother Seamus Show. Welcome to the 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 Brother Seamus Show. Welcome. Hey, what? Sure, Wash me sure there was what? 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 Wash me sure there was Hey, what?
Hey, what? Hey, welcome. Welcome to the show. Guns for Fun just joined. Kelly CC. Thanks for tuning us in on your FM dial. This is the Brother Seamus Show. We got ambient sounds by Zud. XUD. I'll give you a look-see here at Zud. The video in the background that you're seeing right now, actually, let me enlarge that for you TikTokers. That background video was created by Zud. XUD, he's over on Something Television on YouTube. Let me put that in the comments for people who are on TikTok, just in case. Hey, Welcome to the Brother Seamus Show. Over here. Hey, let me assure there with this. Well, 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 hey, what? Over here. Welcome to the Brother Seamus Show. Welcome to the Brother Seamus Show. Welcome to the Brother Seamus Show. Over here. Wow, sorry about that, people. That was a loud bunch of junk there. Cypher's in the house. I've got too much echo on my echo button. The echo knob. It was left at 0.35 or some shit like that. It's too much echo, but that's my own fault because I did it earlier. Cypher's up in the nap chamber for today. He may or may not pipe in. We'll see what happens. He might call us from his phone 20 feet away, and then we'll have another different kind of echo. So I just wanted to show you something television, because the nice ambient music you were hearing before I blew your head off was from a young fella named Cypher. Different young fella named Zud. Zud works with your brother Seamus on another little channel on YouTube called Something Television. Some of you are already on YouTube, and you could go there right now and subscribe. Our handle is @somethingtv, but TV is spelled Teevee. And there's some green kids. I think they're at a dance party up top here. And then there's the lady eating what looks like a Big Mac, I guess. She's got a big red bouffant hairdo. She looks like she might have once been employed by the B-52s. And so that's Something Television. And Zud posts just about once a week. That episode that just popped on was from September 2nd, a year ago. And I don't think that was Zud. I think that was me and Cypher being loud. Here, let's hear it again. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. So if you're watching on TikTok, if you don't mind, head on over to YouTube and go to Something TV, and I'll put the link in the chat here in a second. Let's see what we sounded like back in September of 22. Oh, I hear some air traffic control in there. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but it's kind of loud. And this is a quieter show. The Brother Seamus Show is not as raucous as Something Television. I think this might be one of our more popular episodes where we made a lot of loud music and noises. And that's yours truly, Brother Seamus, doing the AM/FM radio performance. You'll notice the phone number for Something Television is the same as for the Brother Seamus Show. They're not the same show, but I'm the same person, and I don't want to deal with two different phone numbers. So if you like strange experimental video, music kinds of things, go over to Something Television, and you'll see when Zud posts something, it'll have Zud's name in the title, and most of Zud's work goes right to the Something Television live playlist, which is where you can see all the different episodes. But you'll notice that Zud is prominent. Hey, there's Zud right there. There goes Zud. Video diary entry number 1. That's from yesterday. And I would play it, but I've already got his Dronescapes number 9 playing in the background. So I'm gonna pretend that this video goes with. There we go. My processor is, according to the display, is running at 100%. So So I may be overtaxing it. It's usually my video graphics card that's running at super high speed, but for some reason today it's the processor. And that doesn't really make sense because my processor is ginormous. But I think it's just the ghosts in the machine, right? Aren't there always ghosts? Cypher could be a ghost. Cypher's just a collection of electrons that are spinning around a nucleus, and it gives the illusion that Cypher's a solid, but Cypher's actually mostly made up of space. You should be able to pass right through Cypher. Cypher has just informed me. We're gonna try that in a minute and see what happens if you Cypher's trying to dazzle us with how small he is, in fact. That he could be on the head of a needle, he's claiming, if we removed all the empty space, and he'd be so tiny that we could put the entire civilization of planet Earth on the head of the needle with him. The main point is that you'd be so small that we wouldn't even be able to see you with the naked eye, correct? You would disappear from our visual space.
If we get rid of all of that stuff, there would be no naked eye.
Black matter, people. So we're watching Dronescape number 9 from Zud on the Something Television Live playlist. On the Something Television page. And you'll hear more loud things there, but when you see Zud in the title, you'll know that Zud hosted that particular episode, and it will likely be more ambient, like what you're hearing right now. This is on you. I don't have the slightest idea of what you're talking about. Squid. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So that's Zud, people. If you want to read more about how Trump abortion bans are putting women's lives at risk, you can go to ProPublica.org, and there's a series of articles. I think they're calling the series Life of the Mother. And I highly recommend it. Then if you want to watch on Hulu, ABC News and Hulu got together and they did it's supposed to be a series. It says one season available, and it's called On the Brink. We think it's called On the Brink because they seem to have 3 or 4 names crammed together, and your branding is terrible on this, you guys. On the Brink is a little too generic. But it's also Impact X Nightline, on the brink. So Hulu, ABC News, they got all their brand people together in a room, and they turned it into an unwieldy, nightmarish, completely unmemorable thing. So I'm going to tell you what it's about, but if you have Hulu, you can watch it right now. Diane Sawyer and Rachel Scott report on the dire impact of new healthcare restrictions on pregnant women. Severe penalties threaten physicians. For example, in Texas, 99 years is what they threaten the physicians with, while women face life-threatening delays. So that's what Impact X Nightline. I don't know if that's an X or a 10. On the Brink. But go to Hulu, type in On the Brink, and if you can't find it, type in Diane Sawyer or Rachel Scott. Type in the word abortion. You can read about what's happened now is that we've allowed so much money in politics that the far right has figured out that if you get a guy like Trump in office, he'll do your bidding if you give him power. So he did their bidding, and he installed, as we all know, three judges who decided that now, for whatever reason, it's okay for states to deny women the standard of health care that the rest of us are allowed, in the name of quote-unquote protecting babies. But we all know what they're really doing is putting women's lives at risk. They're claiming they're protecting babies, right? That's what they're claiming. They're not protecting babies. Why should you be told? Why should these families be told if something's going wrong with their pregnancy and they have to leave? Like, oh, well, sorry, we know you need an abortion, but we've decided that particular medical procedure is unacceptable, so you have to leave the state, and you better hurry up, because if she's having a complicated miscarriage, her life could be at risk almost immediately. But you have to leave the state, folks. That's what they say. In Texas, at least 2 women have died, and in Georgia, at least 2. 5 women have died so far, and those are just the ones we know about. Those are just the ones that we know about. So go to Hulu and watch On the Brink, Impact X, or whatever it's the worst title, people. It is the worst title I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't even mention pregnancy or abortion in the title. Why? Because it's a series, maybe, and they're going to do different stuff. But come on, man, rebrand. I don't know who. Probably what happened was too many people were stakeholders, right? That's what happened. And you try to homogenize your title, and you got this this rotten apple of a title. Impact X? Really? Good Lord. Hey, maybe you like the title. If you do, give me a call. 509-676-6032. I think I hear some Zud in the background. Some of his mixes get so quiet that I think he's gone away. But if you're listening to this at night, it's probably pretty nice. We're going to keep it nice and calm so you can go to sleep. Or stay awake. Or go into the kitchen and make yourself another cup of coffee. I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'd be curious what you think about abortion, but we don't have to talk about abortion. You can say hello to my co-host, Captain Scully. Cypher, did you meet Captain Scully? You were sitting right next to him. Scully in the wormhole. He's a wormhole, he's a space captain. Scully is spelled S-K-U-L-L-Y, though. See what I did there? Hey, what's happening? Somebody's ring-a-dinging on the ring-a-ding line. Let's see if I can answer it fast enough. Oh, I'm almost there. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, hung up. Too late. You hung up. Try again, Cypher. If that was you. I assume it was you. Let's see if your message appears. No message. We were getting a call on the studio line from Cypher, and I don't want to. Here we go. Good afternoon. You are on the air with Scully, Captain Scully.
Whoa. Talk again.
Talking again.
Okay, that's much better.
I'm going to turn this studio line down and put on my headphones and see what happens. I bet we cured it. No, I mean, I can hear your voice in the room, so yeah, there's a difference. We'll go back to the feedback, but I want to actually see if the phone call gets through to the audience. Now, another thing I can do is, oh wait, I've got desktop audio muted. Now you're going to the audience, Cypher.
Oh, but before I was silent?
You were silent before, so now I'm going to let you have the floor for a minute because I have to pee and I'll be right back. But keep the people happy.
Okay. All right, happy people. It's so good to be with you today here at the Brother Seamus Show in downtown Walla Walla, Washington. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and I recommend staying home and drinking plenty of bourbon lattes. I recommend lavender bourbon lattes and just laying around and listening to the Brother Seamus Show and trying to make some decisions in your mind. And more than decisions, I think that what we're looking for are solutions. Somebody with enough wisdom and enough, intelligence, both emotional and intellectual, to come up with a solution to. Now, this is where Brother Seamus talks about abortions. I like to talk about birth control and trying not to get pregnant. And I do like Brother Seamus had a really good idea he told me about, and that was where all viable men at a certain age get vasectomies, but their sperms get frozen until that one time when they're both parties are responsible and feel responsible enough to bring together the egg and the sperm and then create the child. So, yeah, see? He's even got like a theme song written.
Bringing together the egg and the sperm.
That could go in our rock opera.
That's
when we do like our, like, cause like, aren't you Seamus?
Excuse me, what'd you call me? Brother Seamus, yes.
Bro Seamus?
Bro Seamus.
Can I call you Bro Seamus?
You can call me Bro Seamus, you can call me Brother Seamus, you can call me Brother Sham. And if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
I like to shame. So shame.
Shimmy shame.
I think that your goal was in the next 10 years, anyway, to start a rock band.
Yep. Punk.
And
punk rock.
Punk rock band. And I don't think there's been a whole lot of punk rock operas. But one of the songs could be when the sperm and the egg come together. I think that was your lyric. I'm not sure. with a little more grunge, a little more grind to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Funky, grungy, anatomy.
Yeah, and
Conception.
while you were urinating, while you were taking your break,
Yeah.
I started talking down the wormhole of, the thing that I'm more into. It's just less gray area.
Yeah.
Birth control, and not allowing people. I hate the word not allowing too. That just is so limiting. But allowing people who are at the right place, at the right point in their lives, of being both getting rid of all their selfish desires and becoming mature, responsible adults. Allowing them a chance to then procreate. But up until that point, while they're living fast and wild, procreation would be like kind of a null and void thing. Not so sanctified as it is, but more of a natural process. And that's where, so far the most viable solution I've heard is the adolescent vasectomy, moving into the later fully adult pregnancy.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, because some of the way you're describing it sounds like you aren't going to allow them. It can never be about eugenics. It has to be self-selected. It has to be something people do voluntarily, where they say, I'm going to go ahead and say to my 16-year-old son, hey, bro, you might want kids someday. Your sperm is super healthy right now. You've got the healthiest sperm you're ever going to have. Why don't you go jack it in a cup, and we'll take it to the bank. And this is just part of what we pay our taxes for. It's all covered by federal money.
Okay, so I got to cut in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I am a ginormous fan of, we'll say, eugenics and.
Oh, you are. Where's that hang up button? I lost track of the hang up button. Where the hell is the hang up button?
No. I'm saying, one thing you pointed out was time, space, and not and letting people have a freedom of will or free choice, right?
Yeah. You can't force. We can't force this on parents or kids. Is all I'm saying. It sounded a little bit. I don't think you meant to say it that way, but it sounded like you were saying, we will allow them someday to have children. Should we choose?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to say that.
That sounded like Logan's Run, man.
And you know what we have to do, though, that kind of grinds me a little bit. It's a little off subject. We allow people to choose not to vaccinate.
Oh, you want to start holding people down and shooting? They already think you're forcing them to vaccinate.
I know.
And they're not.
But
that's how they think it.
And then we're also allowing people to go, well, science is full of shit. We've already proven global warming's not happening, and neither is all this vaccination stuff. And the reason my car runs on, compressed explosions, it's all bullshit. Because science doesn't exist.
I detect a note of sarcasm in your language, sir.
Yeah, see, I am nowhere near the polite nature of Brother Seamus. Brother Seamus is a practiced veteran of non-elevated conversation. And I am more of I never practiced anything, and I just explode all of a sudden with deep brooding sarcasm about the human race in general.
Deep brooding sarcasm from Cypher. Now, I would argue, since I know Cypher, I would argue that the deep brooding sarcasm is only part of the picture. Any of us, of course, could have deep brooding sarcasm, right? But it comes and goes. Boy, I have to keep the house sound down. That sounded weird.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to listen live, just so you folks at home, if you're watching on TikTok or YouTube, at Brother Seamus Show on both. I encourage you to follow me on YouTube, partly because I don't even have 100 followers yet, which is pretty pathetic, but also that YouTube will store, if I go over an hour, I can't save it on TikTok. Otherwise, I got to break it in half, and it takes forever. but I'm not doing it. So at Brother Seamus Show on TikTok or YouTube. But what I'm also doing is performing live in the studio. I'd like it to be open to the studio audience. But if I play the caller's voice through the speaker that I'm also recording back into the stream, it creates a forever audio echo loop. And we haven't quite figured that out yet. But I think it sounds pretty good given the fact that Cypher is in the studio calling on the studio line.
Yeah, no. And in fact, were I outside, it'd be perfect. Right now, my experience is really good. Now, I don't know that the listening audience...
Well, they're here. The listening audience should be hearing you and me pretty clearly, and Zud's music in the deep background. But I can't... That's why it's hard. I can't tell what they're hearing exactly.
Which is different from house sound. Because the sound in the house, I don't hear myself, I only hear you. So then I'm only assuming then that what you hear of me is being heard on the cast, and you're not just talking to yourself. But I don't think you're going to be able to get the house sound because you put headphones on. So anyway, back to whatever. And I just want to also invite the studio audience to call in anytime.
509-676-6032.
Brother Seamus is adept and skilled and kind of a savant of conversation on any subject, really. This is pretty specific, this show. Yeah, and he doesn't want to talk about any old thing, but I'm just saying that he can help guide and lead a conversation if you're a shy person. And also, do not forget, though I am Cypher and I am talking right now on the phone, you will not recognize me in public. You will not see me out there somewhere and be able to chastise me for whatever I'm saying. You don't even know where I live. You don't know how I'm sitting or standing, or I could be in the bathroom. We do prefer more focused concentration calls. Could be a threat.
Should we take that as some kind of threat?
Yeah, that's that. I said, I'm taking you all to the potty room. You're going to have to listen to me flush my toilet. That reminds me of this time period. I don't know if anybody remembers it. You might chime in if you have, but and this isn't as abortion related, but there was this time where everybody started meeting on this channel called Zoom. And there were these things called Zoom calls, which were completely amazing because nobody knew how to use the software. Often people would try to get 100 people at once in a call. And it's like John Cagean kind of noise on steroids. So if anybody has any recollection of that, that'd be nice to write in the comments. Do not call in on that. This is specifically a call that we're talking about abortion as medical, saving lives of women. And I happen to stray a little bit into my more favorite subject, which is what's it called, Brother Seamus?
What is your favorite subject, sir? Welcome to this. So that was Cypher. This is the Brother Seamus Show, and I agree with Cypher on most things, except for the eugenics. And I am happy to talk about anything. I only know about some things. I want you to what do they call that? Manage your expectations. But if you want to talk about how women are dying from Trump abortion bans, and yes, I'm sorry, they're Trump abortion bans, I have to say it. Part of my job as your Brother Seamus is to say things that maybe you don't want to hear, but we probably all need to grapple with in some way. And one of those things is that when you appoint 3 far-right Supreme Court justices to the court, and Trump will claim all the legal scholars that wanted him to do it, and that's not true. Some of them did. But what most of them didn't seem to realize is when you take away abortion as a medical procedure, you put women's lives at risk. Plain and simple. Women die if they're having a complicated miscarriage that doesn't resolve itself, and that doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen, because pregnancy is a dicey, dicey game. So all I'm trying to say is, how come it's okay to let a woman die in favor of an undeveloped human that's still growing inside of her? And they say, oh, no, there's still a heartbeat, so we can't do an abortion. As if a heartbeat makes you human. Heartbeats don't make you human.
What they do if you're a dying mother.
I don't understand what that means.
Like if their claim is that this viable fetus has a heartbeat and we can't kill it, then why are they letting the mother die who's got a heartbeat? And it's more than viable, like she's got a conscience and a history and memories and children perhaps, and
Yes.
other children.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
She's had a heartbeat for a lot longer.
but she's definitely 100% viable.
She's 100%
There's no doubt.
viable. She was. And now there are five
Right.
women
There are 5 women.
who are dead now because the bias was so strong in favor of the fetus, of an undeveloped human. It's not a baby. I know we call it a baby, but that's a mistake that we make. It's a mistake of language. If you anthropomorphize your fetus, which means you imagine that it's more fully human than it is, there's no consciousness there. Until the thalamocortical roots reach up to closer to the surface of the brain, the consciousness hasn't flickered on. There's essentially nobody home. It's a vessel. I'm not saying we should disregard its potential. But here's an 18-year-old Nevaeh Crane in Texas, very much an alive adult woman who's excited to have her first child. And then 20 hours later, after 3 trips to the emergency room, she's dead. She's dead because she had a miscarriage through no fault of her own, and they kept denying her care and denying her care and denying her care. And the state attorney general, Ken Paxton, took a very special personal interest in making sure that all of the OBGYNs and all of the emergency room doctors and staff knew that they could face up to 99 years in prison if they perform a quote-unquote abortion. An abortion can be several things, but what they said to Nevaeh, first of all, they said, "Oh, you have strep throat. Never mind your horrible cramps and your bleeding. Go home." And she came back, and then they said, "Well, we have to see if there's a fetal heartbeat, and we need to." So they delayed, and in 20 hours they sent her home again. She was having some kind of complications of her miscarriage, and she got probably septic. I'm not sure if she was a case where I believe it's called preeclampsia happened, which I believe is like a super dangerous spike in your blood pressure. Whatever it was, an 18-year-old young woman died because the government decided that there's a particular procedure called an abortion that she can't have. And some people had the audacity to show up in my comments section and argue, well, it's not that many women. It doesn't happen that often. How many is okay? What's the number of women that we can intentionally let die through, I would say, libelous criminal neglect is what I would say. Same thing in Georgia. And these young women, ranging in age from about 18 to early 40s, Portia Nagumi, Nevaeh Crane, Joselie Barnica, Amber Thurman, and Candy Owens. These are the names of the actual adult humans who died as a result of being denied miscarriage treatment also known as an abortion. There was no chance the fetus was going to survive, but they still wouldn't let them have the abortion. They still wouldn't let them have the abortion. And they died. So where does that leave us? Well, it could leave us with some governors who have some regret about signing such a restrictive law. It could leave us with some Trump voters who realize what they've done now endangers women across the whole country. And guess what? You don't always have much time when that happens. I'm not an OBGYN. I'm sure they can tell you even more horrible details. But Nevaeh was dead within 20 hours. And I believe it was the day of her baby shower. 20 hours later, three emergency room visits later, she's dead. And they do it through intimidation. They do it through bullying. They do it through threats. And it's young adult, fully formed women who will pay the price. They have paid the price. So how many is acceptable? Even if this only happens in 0.01% of the time, we're still talking about thousands, if not tens of thousands of women per year. If we look at just the number of women who need an abortion to save themselves from sepsis, from preeclampsia, from a premature, beyond a certain point, they refer to it as a stillbirth, but it's the same idea. The fetus is not going to survive. But the state now walks into the emergency room and says, nope, even though all the physicians know what to do. It's not like there's a question. This is how you're going to get sued, by the way, physicians. You're scared of Ken Paxton in Texas? Ken Paxton, who was accused of fraud and settled out of court and wouldn't admit guilt, but he paid everybody back. That same Ken Paxton, you're afraid of him? I mean, I do understand that. I wouldn't want to get sued by the state of Texas either. But why don't you link arms? Why don't you create a legal defense fund for physicians? I think across the whole country, you know you can bring in some big donors. That way, if you do get attacked by the state, you have an attorney at your side that's paid for, and you could get lost wages covered. That's what y'all need, is a national legal defense fund for physicians. I'll bet you a lot of physicians would join just as a show of support. Because you should. You got to link arms here. The hospitals are not going to protect you. They are not going to protect you. They already are throwing physicians under the bus. You know what the one hospital corporation, I won't name their name, in Texas said? Well, the physicians make up their own minds, which is not true at all. The hospital attorneys, the corporate attorneys are talking to the physicians all the time. It's a lie. It's a lie to say they make up their own mind. But that's how they're going to treat you. Physicians, be warned. You're also violating your own Hippocratic oath, and you know that. You know that when a woman is bleeding out and maybe going into sepsis, you know what she needs. It's the standard of care. It has been for decades. It's called a D&C, sometimes a D&E, depending upon how long the fetus has been in there. But make no mistake about it. Whether you believe in abortion or not, I don't think Nevaeh Crane thought abortion was right for her. But sometimes you need it. Why do adult women's lives matter less than an undeveloped fetus's life? Why? It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense at all. But I'm sorry to tell you, you Trump voters, when you picked a guy that made a deal with the far-right evangelical community, and he said, I'll only pick judges on your approved list, and that's what he did. And then he was proud of it, and then he said women should be punished for getting an abortion. He went all in with the evangelicals. Now he's trying to backpedal, right? Now he's trying to say, well, the legal scholars told me that's what to do, and I didn't do anything. I just gave it back to the states. Well, you gave it back to the states, and the states already, as you well knew, were all ready to start denying care to women. And they did, and it worked, and they killed women. And you know what Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, did? You know what Brian Kemp did? Ask yourself what you do. Let's say you're the governor, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll give Brian Kemp the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say he didn't know that women were going to start dying almost immediately. Amber Thurman died shortly after Roe v. Wade was destroyed because they had trigger laws ready to go, people. Georgia had a law ready to go that says, oh, anything called an abortion's not allowed, pretty much, period. And they intentionally made it vague, right? You know how laws work. You can be very specific, very targeted, or you can keep it really vague. And that's what they did because they wanted physicians not to know if they were breaking the law. Intentionally vague laws are hard to comply to. Because what if this woman is dying? Am I allowed then? Is there an exception? Well, she doesn't look like she's dying. Maybe you should wait longer. So that's what they did. Well, she might die, but it's still not that dangerous, so wait longer, wait longer, wait longer. And then guess what? It spirals out of control. Amber Thurman knew she was going to die. They made her wait so long. She could tell she wasn't going to survive somehow. And she told her mother to take care of her son. She had a young son. I think he was 4 or 6 at the time. So you created an orphan in Georgia. You killed through hostile neglect, through libelous criminal neglect. You killed a young woman who had another child at home. Now, if you were Brian Kemp and you realized that's what you had done, what would you do? Well, unfortunately, he's a man of very low moral character. So you know what he did? He did what Uncle Donnie Trump taught him to do. He covered it up. He immediately fired the panel of experts that assesses whether deaths in hospitals were preventable or not. And they assessed Amber and Candy both as preventable deaths. So instead of dealing with the problem which led to preventable deaths, which is he signed a terrible law which will end up being his legacy, that's what you'll be thought about from now on, Brian Kemp. You will. That'll be your legacy. So instead of dealing with the bad law and saying we have to do something about this to make sure that women having miscarriages get treatment, instead of doing something about the law, Brian Kemp said, no, just fire all those people on the Preventable Deaths Board. So it raises the question, doesn't it, Cypher? It raises the question, how many other women have died? We only know about 5, but we know if you watch that Hulu special, which I encourage everyone to do, I can't even remember the name now because they made the name so terrible. You'll find out that these other women are not dying, but they're being told, and they're in their worst moments, when they realize they're losing a pregnancy in their 4th, 5th, 6th month of gestation, they're told, sorry, we can't treat you here because of the law and stuff. So even though we know exactly the kind of treatment you need and we have exactly the right tools to provide that treatment, you have to leave the state.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we need to change our understanding of medical practice, whereas the doctors of this world who do or had in the past saved our dying mothers from following the Hippocratic Oath to following the Christocratic Oath?
Tell me more.
Okay, so there's this thing, do you remember it? Called the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah.
And what was Hippocrates saying in that oath? That what are doctors supposed to do?
They're supposed to, number one, do no harm. Don't make things worse. Number two, whenever possible, save life.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And are they forced into following that oath now?
Well, that's the big question. Will they be? If I was Amber Thurman's family, if I was Candy Miller's family, if I was Josie Barnica's family, I would be suing those physicians aggressively, and I would be saying, you violated their constitutional right to life. You had a procedure you could have used, and you didn't do it. So I think these physicians are choosing one poison over another. They're counting on you, the family, that Amber Thurman's family won't sue, and because they're scared. They're scared of the governor. They're scared of the governor, and they're scared of the attorney general. So, you want 99 years in jail, or you want a lawsuit from a family, for which you have insurance coverage.
Right, and who has more lawyers at their disposal?
Yeah, and the state can completely destroy you if they decide they want to. And the courts weren't offering any help. There was one physician, I think it was Texas, who in this case kind of became famous for a minute. The doctor went to the court and said, this woman needs an abortion. I think she's in trouble. I don't think her fetus will survive. It's my good faith decision that she needs an abortion. And the court said, you're right. We're going to protect you from prosecution. So the district court said the state can't come after this woman if she performs the abortion, this particular doctor.
Yeah.
And then the attorney general appealed it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, you cannot protect this physician unless she has a medical explanation that meets the law standard. We can still prosecute her. So guess what happened? The woman did not get the abortion she needed in Texas. Luckily, she was a woman of means, and they spirited her away across the state line so she could have her life saved.
Yeah, you would be surprised. Like I have this whole thing triggers up so many different thoughts and conspiracy theories around wealth and not wealth, about Christian and not Christian, and making a Christian America, and all this other stuff. That it's insane. So I'm not even gonna try to alliterate any of those. But
Best
I'm
not
still
to.
back to no.
Too many wormholes. Too many wormholes.
And what you're talking about too, though, are mechanisms and procedures. Well, they're mechanisms the law won't allow you to do this, so the doctor's afraid of the law. These are all mechanisms. But what it comes down to is the overriding popularity of humanity right now feels as though this isn't an appropriate procedure. So, a certain amount of people voted for Trump. It was enough to vote him into office, though it wasn't the popular vote. Those people have had no problems, and I have never heard any dissent or argument against women who have viable reasons for needing abortions, getting abortions.
Just a quick correction. He did win the popular vote this time, so just to clarify.
No, this time. I meant the last time when the three judges were voted.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I meant when everything changed.
Yeah, and you don't have to be...
I know he got
So even if a majority of Americans... You're right, though. Over 60% of Americans think abortion should stay legal. So what's happened is Trump will say this, too. He's like, I gave it back to the states. And it's like, yeah, but you knew the states were poised to kill women. And that's what they're doing. So because the evangelical community, the extreme... I don't even want to say evangelical because that's unfair to a lot of Christians, but the extreme elements that include those three judges basically said, we'll get you in office, but you got to give us abortion. And he did. And that's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just a political arrangement, I don't think I don't think Trump knew, and I don't think a lot of people passing these laws knew. I don't think Trump voters knew that women were going to die so quickly. Even if it's small numbers of women, you're not allowed to just kill women because of a political disagreement. Like, oh, hey, guess what, Andrew? The Republicans now want to keep men from using diabetes medicine. They shouldn't be injecting themselves with insulin because it's not manly and God didn't want that. Okay, you're going to take away my insulin, a life-saving drug, and I'm going to die? Well, only men, though. Only men.
Right.
If that law existed right now, there would be more than a million people in Washington, D.C. demanding change. I think the problem is, tell me if you agree with this, it's quiet. People aren't really hearing about it. You know, this Hulu special is one of the first mainstream things. ProPublica did the piece. ProPublica broke it open, so I hope you give them a subscription. But other than that,
well, I think it's
people don't talk about it, right?
Right. No, they don't really in such a way. You know, some of it. How much of it is burnout? Too, like the people who might talk about it are just sick of talking about it. And how about this?
Yeah.
The people who probably would talk about it are probably all in their 30s and younger and didn't even vote this time because they're so apathetic to government, because they've realized that government's boardroom politics. It's capitalism merging with government. It's the capitalistocracy and the way it runs. You know, everything you talked about the 3 judges getting their judgeships and getting Trump in office. I mean, it's boardroom politics. It's just like the way the boards work and the way that you become vice president and president of a company through your cronyism and your crony knowledge. So it's like, you know, does voting even matter? Oh, this is a good one. Anyway, but that
yes,
was
it does. It does. But let me redirect that because I love a good rant as much as anybody. But before you hang up, let's not wallow in the negative of what it is. Yes, it is a boardroom. And people make these dirty deals, whether they knew. I kind of think Trump knew in his gut that he was going to hurt women, and I think that was important to him. I think he gets his jollies that way. That's just my opinion. But what are we going to do about it, Cypher?
Oh, it's the revolution that all the 30-year-olds are planning.
Well, let's make it more specific. Let's operationalize the revolution, because I agree with you. I think revolution is constant in human existence. But if you were listening to this and you felt powerless, what comes to top of your mind of what's the most effective strategy?
Activism.
All right. Can you tell me more? Where do they go? Who do they talk to?
I mean, activism's simple, right? Like,
what if they're shy?
Yeah.
What if they're too shy,
right.
Cypher? They're too shy. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, what if their uncle's name's Dangling Chad? Anyway, yeah, I get it. I mean, and that is probably one of the most...
Who the fuck is Dangling Chad? And why? Why did you mention that? Sorry, go ahead.
Because that's what I always think about when I think about checking the box and the voting tally of who has office. Is poor Chad dangling there? Am I yes or am I no? I don't know. Oh, and the ridiculousness. So that's the thing, Sean.
Excuse me?
Who's Sean?
Who's Sean?
Oh, Sean.
Stay focused.
Come
here,
on in, Sean.
Cypher.
So Sean just showed up at the door.
Okay,
here.
tell him I
I'm
said
going to
hi.
let him into the bathroom real quick.
I haven't seen him for a long time.
Seamus, you don't mind if Sean use your bathroom? Okay, Seamus.
I haven't seen Sean for a long time. You were talking about what can these people do to help the revolution to push back against the theocracy that has attacked us.
And that's, right, and it has to, they're shy people too, you reminded me, that aren't willing to become influencers on some network or use that. How much time is left? Maybe 20 days left of TikTok? I don't know. Anyway, I just figured it out, by the way.
You did? Okay.
yeah, Elon Musk is going to buy TikTok. Duh. Anyway, okay, let's move on.
Okay.
So, I mean, voting, becoming, and voting doesn't mean you're just checking a box. It means you're becoming educated in the stances and the positions of the politicians that are making the decisions around your life and other people's lives. I mean, it's not such the most passive thing ever as just checking or circling or filling in a circle box. There's responsibility around that. And unfortunately, you know, the thing that sucks is to have a working functional democracy, you have to be responsible. And they don't work if your responsibilities are showing up at Bill and Paul's and playing games and drinking all day, or just watching WWE, you know, whatever it's called. So yeah, voting. You made me say it.
I know it sounds boring. It sounds boring, but you're right. They have to actually register their voices, right?
Wait, did you say I was boring?
No, I said voting. Voting is boring. Voting. I think when kids hear it, they're like, "Oh, it's stupid. Voting doesn't matter." It's unexciting, but you're right.
Well, it seems like, I think to kids, and I don't know what demographic I'm talking about when I talk about kids, but it's not mine. There's an apathy through years and years of observation that nothing gets done. We had this really super exciting moment. I don't know if you remember it in our lives, though, that a demographic of person who formerly was owned by many people in the United States as servants became the president of the United States. And he was, you know, super charismatic, super intelligent, had great emotional intelligence as well. And he got absolutely nothing done. I don't mean absolutely nothing, but the great things that he was going to do for everybody got all, you know, thwarted by our political system. And so I got a bunch of young people now who are like, that doesn't do shit. You know, so it's hard even getting my own kids to go and vote. Anyway, that was my rant. Oh, Brother Seamus, was I supposed to take so long on my rant that you could take a potty break? Oh my gosh, this means that I can go play on the mic and the phone at the same time. Let's see what that does. Here we go. We're getting closer.
Hello.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it might be.
I need to...
Oh, wait.
Hello.
No, it doesn't work.
All right.
So this is Cypher, talking to Cypher, interviewing Cypher.
Wow,
Seamus takes a little break.
Or he's gone from his
mic controls.
Which
I do know a rule that I try to follow. This is funny because I can talk on this, or I can talk on this, and it's competing with itself. A rule to follow with Brother Seamus is don't mess with his controls. Leave them how they are. So I can't add echo to myself. And there's got to be a headset here. Oh, he's got it on and unplugged, I bet. Oh, no. I see it. I found it. Let's see what this headset does. But he's got me back on mic. Hello? Oh, I do hear myself now. Okay. Hold on a second. We might have something.
Do we have anything? I'm trying to... Man, this is a good system. It's really blocking everything out. I can't get my favorite physics of sound waves mixed with digitation called feedback working. I'm trying really hard. I want some feedback. Could I please have some feedback? All right, there appears to be no feedback. But there is a little echo. Oh, I had a little echo. Hold on. Oh, here we go. I don't know if
I don't
the
know
audience
if the
will hear
audience
this
would hear
echo,
this echo
or not.
or not.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah,
a
there's
5-second
just a 5-second
delay
delay
that's really keeping
that's
the
really
feedback
keeping
at
the
bay.
feedback at bay.
Oh, that's like a
Oh,
rhyme.
that's like a rhyme.
A 5-second
5-second delay
keeps feedback
keeps
at
feedback
delay.
at delay.
This should be
This
everybody.
should be everybody,
like every
like
audio
every
engineer,
engineers
saying,
or maybe
fraternal
expressions.
So anyway, where I was going on and on about something in this delay. And I think I'm going to take some of this equipment off because I'm
confused by these 3 devices and also the 10 audios I'm hearing at once. So I'm going with 0.0 audio and pacing about the house, talking about voting in the younger generation, and I'm seeing kind of, and I saw it too. I won't admit to my generation because I am ageless. I see from all generations. But since a certain period in time of watching politics happen, and I'll use the word like neocons, since they started down their path of wanting to conservatize the United States, more or less, less and less actual achievements and things getting done and promotional things bringing the standards of life to Americans to a better point. There used to be the thing, the American dream, which is still achievable, but by such a few amount of people that it's incredible that we want to blame now all of a sudden all these there's this word illegals, which is kind of ridiculous, but immigrants. And I don't think any of us in America, well, there are a few of us, I think 2% of us actually have heritage that goes back more than 400 or 500 years. But most of us have been immigrants probably only as late as 200 years ago. So I'm not actually sure what part of our Constitution was written around not having immigration. But anyway, like Brother Seamus is back in, and he's scowling at me for not even talking about what the subject is at hand, because he left control to me, which was a mistake.
You were starting to make an excellent point about what young people should do, and it's called voting. And I said, that'll sound boring to them, but it's true. And then you decided you were going to torture them, even though this is a quiet late-night crowd that likes quiet sounds. And you're over here trying to make feedback happen. And luckily I tricked you so you can't do it.
I know, I felt the feedback blocker on.
That's a different show. The feedback. Let's see what happened to Zud's soundscape. We kind of lost some Zud. Oh, maybe he's in the headphones still.
Oh, who, me or Zud?
Zud.
No,
I know you're in the headphones. There he is. Zud's back. You can't hear him in the room because if I turn the room on, then you'll get a horrible feedback, which is Cypher's fondest dream, is to torture you with feedback. Luckily, I'm here to throw myself on the grenade. This is the Brother Seamus Show. If you want to hear feedback, microphone, raucous, loud bass guitar, you can tune into that show that I was showing you earlier called Something Television, within which Cypher is often providing we'll call it soundscapes, people.
Yes, soundscape. Oh, wait, I thought you were going to call it sound escape. Like where you have to escape the sound.
I like that too. That works. So the boring thing is, and I want to add to your comment, it's like, yes, voting is a thing, but I also want young people to realize we don't need to wait for the federal government to do things. Are there things you can do Are there ways that we can organize ourselves, whether we live all the way up here in Walla Walla, Washington, or way over in the middle of the country, let's say in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then shoot all the way out to Washington, D.C.? Aren't there things we can do as a community where we link arms, we scratch our chins, and we try to figure out, okay, if women are being denied miscarriage care, we should have a national organization that we fund apolitically. Forget politics. Forget which party you belong to. It's all bullshit anyway. Forget about Trump. It's all nonsense. Can we help women who are under threat? And the answer is, of course we can. Of course we can. There's no one right way to do it. Do you have room in your home? You could list your house as a safe house for young women who need to travel. And young women who live in Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Iowa, Idaho, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. I would really, really encourage all of you to get on birth control as soon as possible, because I don't think now is the time for you to get pregnant. It sounds like my coffee just came up. I'm gonna take a pause here and go check my coffee out.
Yeah, he's scared though. If I take a pause, then do I give it back to Cypher, or do I invite Cypher to hang up? Or I could just hang up.
So
on
we're
Cypher.
gonna see if Cypher will. Well, let me make sure I'm on the right screen though. I may be on the wrong screen. Let's see if Cypher will stay with the topic. What can any of us do to help women? Let's say you happen to live in Walla Walla, Washington, where you have excellent laws for now. How can you help?
All right, that's kind of a trick. This is a trick that Seamus plays with Cypher.
I'll give you a hint that one answer is on the screen in front of the audience right now. It's a
That's not my
4-letter
answer.
word.
Oh yeah, I mean, reading is one thing, but I was thinking also, like there's thousands of ways. A group of people, for people that are disenfranchised in one state, could offer to come pick them up and take them to a state where that health care is available, and then also provide for them some kind of a hostel to stay in that provides food and other services. I mean, there's lots of simple solutions that involve being, in this case, not, Marylanders or Michiganders, or I think it's Michiganders, I'm not sure, or Washingtoners, but being Americans and watching out for our fellow Americans. There is also services like if you're scared and you need something done, a procedure that your state doesn't offer immediately, services that give up resources or make phone calls or make arrangements and appointments with other healthcare systems that can provide the health that you need, provide the travel and the, what is it called? I want to say locomotion, but that's just not the right word. But the ability to get to where you need to go, and then provide the welcoming, open hand services, which I would argue these are like Christian values. When somebody's afraid, a Christian should reach out to them and hold their hand and say, do not be afraid, God is with you, right? And then lead them through these things. And I always felt like instead of standing in front of the abortion clinics playing the job of Satan, the judge, and telling people they're going to hell, you should be receiving those people knowing that they're going through a situation that is both emotionally trying and physiologically trying, and take care of those people instead of, and I'm pretty sure there's this line somewhere in the Bible that says, basically, if you judge, you're going to be judged. And I believe it's Satan who's called the judge So I just don't get where these Christians are standing in line. They're at the wrong place. They're at the front and not at the back like they're supposed to be. Oh, Jesus, what he said about abortion was absolutely nothing. Jesus never went, hey, yo. You know what he did do, though, once? I remember this story where there was this woman who had done some things that weren't felt right by society, and all society was standing around with their big old rocks, and they were going to, like, throw these rocks at this woman until she died, commonly known as a good old stoning. And Jesus said, hey, those of you who haven't sinned before or haven't done anything bad before, then you guys cast the stones first. And guess what everybody did? They all lowered their heads and went, man, and walked away. yeah, that one guy who threw the stone. And then God evaporated him instantly. But anyway, I mean, there is lots to be done. There's lots to be done for all sorts of people. And without getting into too much of my own kind of, I do have a little bit of a humanitarian bias where I wonder where humanity's going because I see less and less of it. But less and less of it's promoted. And all the things that do the promotions these days are run algorithmically. And those algorithms tend to side towards despair, anger, frustration, embarrassment, and not as much. Like, there are fuzzy kitten ones, and there are happy dad came home from the army ones, but they're fewer and fewer and far between each other than two politicians yelling at each other or some kind of a fist fight in the middle of whatever. So there's a little bit of something crazy going on with humanity, and this is where, and I think Brother Seamus would agree with me that social media isn't necessarily the best thing for the way our brains are organized around socializing and being together as humanity. But anyway, what other things can you do for somebody without using or having to rely on laws being put in place? And there's laws everywhere. So that one that we have up on the board here, this thing called READ. And I would argue as a dyslexic that sometimes reading is not the most appealing thing for me to do. But if you're looking at it on a screen right now, most what are these things called? Browsers have these really cool add-ons called screen readers that'll read out loud to you.
And most news websites, like the one we're looking at right now, which is ProPublica.org, they have a reader already built in. The Washington Post has it built in. New York Times has it built in. You can read a lot of stuff. But what should we also caution people about getting information from social media, which is ironically what's happening right this moment? You're getting information from social media.
We're going to caution you.
What do we want to say about that? Should you just trust everything that Cypher's just been spewing?
No, look it up. Do your research.
Well, yeah.
Okay, then what, Sean?
I was going to say, be more specific, though, because everybody says they do their own research.
Yeah, well, they do. They go to Fox News and do their own research. You're right. And that's what's hard to do, like, you know, getting a fair and unbiased opinion. And that's going to involve, I would say, multiple sources. And I don't know exactly which is the, you know, what mix of sources is going to give you and it's not them making the decision for you, it's you making the decision for yourself after reading the resources.
Right. So one thing you can do is definitely read more, look for more sources. Also look for sources that have been around for a while, and also get off the frickin' internet and talk to people around you that you trust. Talk to people in your community. Why are you relying on the frickin' internet? You don't know who I am. You don't know who Cypher is. You're going to listen to some social media corporation that's trying to sell you slippers. You're going to that's your source? And that does include us. Talk to people. Actually do a thing that humans have done for most of civilization, and that's, work in a community. Talk to somebody that you know disagrees with you, but somebody that you respect. Uh-oh, TikTok's getting mad at me now. I have to prove I exist. Drag the puzzle piece into place, but there's no puzzle piece. That is... I gotta refresh it. Maybe I need a new puzzle. Come on, TikTok. I am a real person. Cypher's a real person. Captain Scully, well, Captain Scully's from a faraway place.
Maybe they don't like what you're saying. Maybe Elon does own it now.
No, he can't. Elon can barely find his socks in the morning. He can't own 2 social media companies. Boy, I'll tell you what, though, that Twitter, I don't know about if y'all... I stayed on Twitter just to see what would happen, and man, it's pretty much a sewer.
Well, I mean, it's just anything.
It infused... I also followed Mr. Trump on his Truth Social, and that was just like cut and paste GIFs praising him and showing him with a lion and showing him with Jesus. They compare him to Jesus on there. It's like, are you serious? We all, us crazy liberals, we loved Obama, but we didn't imagine him a god. You guys you're taking it a little too far, don't you think? He's just a rich guy.
Oh, gosh. Who's wanted to be famous his entire life.
Here's the thing about Trump that I think we have to understand. I think TikTok is going to cut me off in looks like 50 seconds or so because I haven't done my puzzle piece. Maybe I'll try
bigger. Make the screen bigger.
That'll take up more resources. It won't let me. This is as big as it gets.
Drag that little slidey bar thing at the bottom. Does that drag?
No, because you got to drag a puzzle piece, see my fingers on it, but it won't show it to me. And then I hit refresh.
Arrow key. This is awesome. Report a problem.
The YouTube signal will continue, so I think it may have ended already, but see, it can't even do a proper countdown, so I don't know what's going on.
No, you're stuck on 30. This is TikTok?
This is TikTok because they force their swollen member into the world that OBS already can manage quite fine. TikTok said, no, you can't use OBS. You have to use our made-up version of OBS. And so when I say to TikTok, stay in your lane, you fucking morons. This is not something that you're good at. You suck at it. Just tell people, here's a stream key, go on OBS and do your stream. But then I get this, because it detected that there wasn't enough movement, so I must not have my face in the camera.
You know who could fix that for you, don't you, Sean?
Don't say Elon Musk.
Peter? Oh, man. How did you know my answer? He can fix it. He fixes everything. He's going to fix the government. Don't you know? He's the fixer.
Yeah. He's a fixer, all right. When you say his name, you strengthen him, though, just so you're actually helping him.
He's like Baltimore.
He is. Social media is it's a perfect analog for Voldemort.
Then we have to come up with a code name. I'll work on that later because I do have to get off the. But am I kind of like right now? Today I've been playing. What is it called? There's the disc jockey, and then there's the person who is along like Robin from.
Sidekick.
Yeah, but it wasn't Sidekick. And you're thinking of Batman and Robin, and I'm thinking of Robin from the Howard Stern show. Code jockey.
Is she a co-jockey, or though is she just a sidekick?
Like, did you not listen to Howard Stern when you were youthful?
Not
Dang.
really. Once in a while.
Okay.
I mean, everybody listened to him a little bit.
Now when he got famous. Anyway, so that's enough about that. Let's get back on our subject of voting and what you can do outside of being governed to help women live safe lives.
Yeah. No, I liked your point earlier, and I want to reinforce your point. Is keep in mind that Jesus never. Oh, Cypher's gone. Cypher is gone. Jesus didn't say anything about abortion, people. So stop blaming Christianity. Stop blaming Jesus for your. I don't know what to call it. It's a need to control other humans' bodies. It's an incessant need, and you can look at this in homophobia, transphobia. There's an incessant need by the dominant group to control the functioning, to control the expression, and to control the health of another member of the population. Equal in number, humans with wombs are equal in number, but somehow their personhood gets delegitimized when you put 3 rabid anti-abortionists on the Supreme Court and state governors who are cuckolds in this process. Maybe they didn't know that they were going to kill young women with their laws. Maybe they didn't know their laws were going to... I'll even give you the benefit of the doubt, Governor Kemp, that you had no idea that young women were going to start to die. These laws could affect your own children. Think about that, Governor. What if your daughter, like Nevaeh Crane, really wants to have a baby and she's young and healthy, and then something goes wrong? And now you've got a doctor who's afraid to provide life-saving care. Oh, that's right. You'll go to a private hospital and pay for it, so you won't have to worry. But if it's against the law, I guess you will have to worry. The grief is real. I try to make a point of saying that every episode. People are expecting, let's say you really do want a baby, and you're expecting that a baby will appear at some point in your life, and then something goes wrong. The grief over that is real. That doesn't mean that the undeveloped fetus was actually a baby. This is where the quote-unquote right to life people have been lying to us for decades. Since I was a little kid, they've been lying to us. It's an undeveloped human until there's consciousness, until the thalamocortical connections are made and are firing. What you've got is a vessel. I know that's upsetting for people, and I know they anthropomorphize the fetus and they name it and they talk about, oh, it likes this and it doesn't like that. It's like, no, those are just nerve impulses that are firing. I don't want to be too upsetting, but those are just nerve impulses. When the consciousness when the psyche flickers on, we could call it the soul even, if you'll allow such a bold statement from an atheist preacher. When the soul enters the body is when a person becomes a person. And there's no way of knowing exactly when that happens, except it does not happen until very, very late, 7th, 8th, 9th month. And even then, there can be fetal problems. There can be problems with the fetus. And should a full-grown woman be told, no, your fetus is worth more than you, go home and wait until sepsis kills you both. Even when they know the fetus isn't going to survive, women are being told, sorry, either you have to wait and risk your life and health, because I'm scared of jail, or you can just leave the state. Go ahead and leave. Why should you be forced to leave the state through no fault of your own? I can't believe these governors are going to continue in this way. It's political suicide. I think Captain Scully would agree with that. Yeah, that's right. I traveled through wormholes. I've seen a lot of shit. Would you say these abortion laws make any sense? Not a bit of sense. They're just the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Real dangerous. There's a lot of danger out in the multiverse, and this is one of the most dangerous places now that I've seen. Well, that's pretty impressive there. Captain Scully says, we are behaving in a horribly dangerous manner. That's right. Well, we've reached our time limit. We're past the 90-minute mark, but I took a lot of breaks today, so let me just end. I want to switch topics away from abortion for a minute. I thought we did a good job of talking about abortion today. We didn't get too loud, too crazy. Just remember, honestly, seriously, Jesus said absolutely nothing about abortion. If abortion was so important, so where did it come from? Where did all of this anti-abortion sentiment come from? It's the same people that keep wanting to control other people's bodies. It's an element within society. A lot of people want to blame white men, and it's like, well, we're the dominant group in society right now that's trying to enact some of those controls. Not all white men, of course. I'm a white man. But it's this desire that's always been there. Think of the Salem witch trials. What was that really about? That was about empowered women probably defending themselves and developing their own medicines and probably having their own version of, taking care of each other with healthcare. There was an element amongst men, and it exists in women too, strangely enough, that sees any emancipation of a female human, any emancipation of a human with a uterus is seen as threatening. And I would argue that's what's underneath the pernicious lie, the lie that abortion kills babies, because it is a lie. Abortion's a medical procedure that, when used properly, can save women's lives. When used in a timely manner, can save women's lives. We've known it forever. We've known it since I was a little kid. My mom worked in labor and delivery. She'd come home and at dinner time tell us stories about everything that would happen there. That doesn't mean I know more than you, but you do got to read. You got to go to ProPublica.org and read the stories of these young women who died and their families and what their families went through, and then go over to Hulu and watch the ABC News Hulu special that's called God Knows What. Just Google Diane Sawyer abortion Hulu. And it's about how women are driven out of their home state. Families are driven out of their home state when they're in a time of great medical need. How would you like that? Like your appendix is rupturing, you go to the emergency room and they're like, well, sir, any humans with penises can't have their appendix removed. That would be bad. Yes, I did just compare a developing fetus to an appendix. It's human tissue, folks. I know it's upsetting. Until the soul enters the body. They used to call it the quickening, I think. Until there's some quickening, give me a break. Give me a break. You're going to take an adult woman who may have children of her own and her whole family and say, oh, you need a procedure desperately. You're having a complicated miscarriage late in your pregnancy. Get the fuck out of Iowa or Idaho. It could apply to Iowa too. That's what's going to start happening. It's already happening. But we've gone way over time today. We did spend a few minutes where Cypher was trying to assault you with feedback loops, and I'm going to give him one last chance to do that If he wants to call me on the phone before we hang up, we'll go out on a feedback loop. I know how to work it, son. That's how I made sure it wouldn't work for you. Dinky donkey dink dook. I like the ring on Google, the Google phone ring. Dinky donkey donk dink. Pom 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 pom. Blink blink blunk blunk blink blunk. Bada bada bum bum.
Yeah.
All right. Cypher's on the line.
Yeah.
509-676-6032. Let me take the headphones off.
Here we go. We're moving into position, people.
All right, now I think I might have to apply.
You're going to have to try house noise.
I might have to apply some delay, but let's see. Here we go. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
That is it. Over here. Welcome.
Not quite enough.
I'm not going too far.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's going to lose control quickly.
Let me control that soundboard.
Over here. Not on my show.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not even trying yet. Here we go. Yeah. We can use that. He thinks he's laughing, but he hasn't realized I've kicked in my secret weapon. It's just